Things are already heating up across the country in the real estate market. So, what can you do to be more competitive? Okay. Now, you're already facing some uphill battles with the VA home loan in general. Look, guys, I teach this stuff across the country and I talk with the real estate professionals and consumers across the country. And the one thing that we notice is that there's just some kind of bad taste in their mouth from past VA home loan transactions or people passing down that it's a horrible loan product. So if you guys have run into that, please drop a comment in the section. Tell me what happened. Always interested to learn what's going on in the veteran community, but it's the same things that I faced when I was out purchasing a property, and I do this every day. So some of the stigmas that are around the VA home loan, that it's a horrible process. It takes forever to close. So sometimes people will be like, oh, it takes 45 to 60 days to close on a VA home loan. Absolutely not. On average, it's about 21 days or so. Okay. Now, if you're living in a rural area, yes, it's going to take longer because the appraisal process is going to take longer. And yes, you can buy as is. We do plenty of videos around how you can actually do that with escrow holdbacks. And also, as a side note, if you're looking to buy a condo, you can literally buy any condo that you want with a VA home loan with a property waiver. It's really easy, and a lot of veterans get frustrated during that process. If you guys have questions, please, in the description, there's a link to schedule a call with us. We're able to help you in all 50 states and territories, both from the real estate side and the financing side, and connect you with people that know what they're doing. So today, what we're going to talk about is going to be an accumulation of my experience working with the real estate community, consumers, and buying myself across the country, right? You can get as crazy as you would like in being competitive, but does it really make sense to do so, right? And the thing is that majority of transactions do require financing. That's the only time you really have a hard time going against someone that's coming in at, let's say, the same offer price that you are, but they're buying cash and they can close in a week and a half, 2 weeks. Okay, then any type of financing is going to become difficult to compete with. But when it comes to looking at VA loan, conventional loan, FHA loan, or some of these alternative loan products that are out there, the VA home loan itself is very competitive for numerous things, which again, we cover all of that on the channel. But what we're going to talk about today, though, is going to be the contract itself, right? How do you make yourself more competitive to be able to win on a property? Now, listen, you can go, and I'm going to break down each of these kind of categories and explain what they are, because I don't think a lot of people do a good job of doing that. Hence, this is why we do these videos. You can go from very protected to extremely unprotected by waiving a lot of the contingencies that we're going to be talking about. It makes a difference because your financial picture is going to drive a lot of this, right? Or for your need for housing is going to drive what you want to waive, what you don't. Some people out there have been looking for a long time, and when they find a place, they're like, well, I got to do whatever I got to do to win this place. But what you got to know is the downside to what you're going to waive. So I'm going to explain some of this stuff. So in certain states, they have what's called an attorney review. Not every state, there's only like a few states that do this, but it's the first thing that we're going to talk about. An attorney review period basically outlines that an attorney is going to review your contract after the realtors have put it together and signed it, both by the buyers and the sellers, if you guys are using realtors. The attorney is going to review everything, make sure you understand all the timelines, and when you do a home inspection, they're going to also work with the other attorney to get things repaired, or you're not going to get them repaired, whatever happens, which is what our next component is a home inspection contingency. You have the option of waiving a home inspection, which I don't think you really should do unless, we'll have in some markets where it's very competitive. People will bring a home inspector with them and do a home inspection on the spot. I think that's crazy because that gets crazy expensive, right? That cost varies widely across the country, anywhere from like $300 to $800 or more, depending on the size of the house. But basically, a home inspection is where you have a licensed contractor come out, or licensed inspector, that comes out to the property. They spend a couple hours there and they tell you everything that's wrong with the property. But again, in some markets, people waive that like that's just part of a standard operation, right? They waive them, which I think is crazy, because if there's some major issues with the house, you want to be able to back out of this. And also, by the way, we've done videos around earnest money, because you do put a deposit down on the property, right? So that can make it more competitive by putting that larger deposit down. But then couple that with these contingencies, you can lose that money if you back out for whatever reason. Like, you can waive a home inspection contingency, but then you do a home inspection and you're like, holy cow, I want out of this contract. Well, you won't be able to get out of it. Okay. The other thing is going to be, and the VA home loan does not require a home inspection, by the way. They just encourage that you do it. I also encourage you, no matter if it's a new construction or not. The other thing is going to be an appraisal contingency. Basically, if the appraisal comes in lower than the offer price, then you can walk out of the deal. The VA does have a VA escape clause, VA mandatory clause, where basically, like, if it comes in low, you can walk away from the deal and get your earnest money back. Yes, it's great, but it also makes the VA home loan, I don't know, I want to be positive, but basically it's one of the reasons why people just don't accept these. But you can waive that contingency on a VA home loan, or you could put an appraisal gap. So basically, if you're buying a place for $300,000, or let's say the offer list price is $300,000, you come in at $330,000, and you basically guarantee that, like, hey, that $30,000 gap, if it goes in under, under the $330,000, I'll cover up to $30,000 of that appraisal gap. So you can do that with the VA home loan. And again, we see this all the time. We see those numbers much higher a lot of times. But again, depends on where you're at in the market. And you can buy a property as is, by the way, with the VA home loan. Again, we've done a bunch of videos around that where you can do escrow holdback. So if there's some issues with the property, as long as it's not safety related, then you can actually set up an account at the time of closing for whatever repairs that are needed, and then you can do them yourself afterwards and get your money back. It's actually pretty awesome. So you can buy as is. You can waive your appraisal contingency as well. The other big one is going to be a financing contingency. So I'm going to break this down. So when you do your pre-approval, and as a side note, we do a lot of financing contingency waivers, okay, on VA home loans. And people are like, well, why would you do that? Because, and I don't recommend doing it for a lot of individuals out there, because they work with some of like the big veteran banks that are out there. One, they overcharge you like crazy. We always talk about that. So if they're marketing to you on, on TV, if they're marketing to you on, all these social media platforms, there's a specific reason. It costs a lot of money, so they have to pass that cost on to you. So again, please stay away from them. So a financing contingency, basically what it is that if your loan were to get denied, they still keep your earnest money. The challenge with it, and why I harp about it, is that the financing contingency for a lot of lenders don't know how to do VA loans, even though if they say they know how to do them, because we look at them all the time. They're like, man, you did this, you pre-approved somebody incorrectly. They get denied a week before closing. Again, if this is something we can help you with, please schedule a call with us. We're happy to go through this with you, but just be very careful if you're going to be waiving a financing contingency. You can also get underwritten for a loan before you even buy. That's also really great, because then you for sure know that you're good to go. But a good loan officer is going to be able to walk you through that. I touched about buying a condo. But when you buy a condo, you actually have to review all the documents. You have like normally a 5-7 day-ish kind of time to review all the condo docs to make sure that you want to buy that condo. There's definitely a lot that goes into condo and its finances, because now you have a shared budget. So we'll be doing a video soon just around that, like I teach a basic 3-hour course on condos, right? Like there's a lot that you need to know. There's also a section in the contract that talks about what the max interest rate is going to be. So if it goes above that, technically you can walk away from the contract. And then also, depending if your state pays taxes current, meaning that in 2024, your taxes are paid and due in 2024. But there's states out there that pay what is called in arrears. So in 2024, you're actually paying 2023 taxes. So the sellers give you a credit for those taxes at the time of closing. You can waive that tax proration, right? Again, you can go as easy, or you can go as protected or unprotected as you would like. It all really depends on your financial picture and what you really want to do. So please guys, hit the like and subscribe button for more content like this, and drop any questions you guys have, or if you want any videos around a certain topic, happy to do so. I'll catch you guys soon.